You are listening to Das Bundesliga show here on the Lock Betting podcast. We'll start with the 2:30 Bundesliga kickoffs. We are covering 6 of the 9 Matchday 3 games here, and we start with Augsburg at home to Mons, where Augsburg are the 12-5 underdogs. It's 5-2 on the draw, and Mons are the 6-5 favourites. Augsburg are a strange team to work out. I strongly expected them to be bang in the relegation hunt this season, and I still do. I'm not dissuaded by the fact that they caused a massive upset win last weekend, winning away to Bayer Leverkusen. I thought they would lose that game comfortably. They ended up coming away with a shock 2-1 result. Obviously, it was completely against the run of play. However, prior to that, the week before, they were beaten 4-0 at home to Freiburg. So we won't invest too much in the Augsburg lottery this weekend. I do think last week's result was an outlier. I do think this team are bad, and I do think this team will go down, and I do think that Mons will win this game and stay undefeated. They have been undefeated in their last 5 coming into this one. I also think there'll be goals here in this game. Augsburg have seen over 2.5 goals now in 4 of their last 5. The head-to-head matches between these two have seen over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 9. And interestingly, Mons haven't kept a clean sheet against Augsburg in 11 straight games. So I certainly feel that both teams could find the net here, continuing that trend where Augsburg continue to score against Mons, but there's no way that Augsburg will keep a clean sheet here against Mons. Both teams to score is a little bit juiced here at 7-10, but I do think it is the right way into this game. Up next, we look at the game here between Bayer Leverkusen at home to 1899 Hoffenheim, where Bayer Leverkusen here are available at 7-10. It's 10-3 on the draw, and it's 10-3 on Hoffenheim. Leverkusen were supposed to be outsiders for the title. Leverkusen were definitely supposed to be in the Champions League positions, but they've had a horrible start to the season with 2 losses. The first loss is acceptable. You lost a big game against Borussia Dortmund, but last weekend, losing away to Augsburg, which we just mentioned, is completely unacceptable. So they will be looking for a big bounce back here. The irony is that they now need to win a game which is more difficult than the game that they lost last weekend, because Hoffenheim are a team who can score goals against you. So this is a tougher task for Leverkusen on paper. However, when you look at how this game will play out, last week Augsburg decided to set up a defensive block. Leverkusen struggled to break it down, and Augsburg essentially scored with every single counter that they had and overperformed the expected goals to cause a massive upset. I think this will be a wide open game, and this will probably suit Leverkusen a little bit better. When you get these odds on Leverkusen with their chances of winning the game at 59%, they generally win more often than that. They have a 64% win rate at these odds. There should be goals here in this game, given that over 2.5 goals is cashed in 8 of the last 10 meetings, with both teams also scoring in 8 of the last 10. And Bayer Leverkusen come into this one unbeaten in the last 4 against these opponents. However, they have lost the last 3, and they are without a clean sheet in 4 matches. Hoffenheim come in with both teams scoring in 4 of the last 5, and with over 2.5 goals also cashing in 4 of the last 5. So this should be an entertaining game. It should be high scoring. But ultimately, I think it's a game where Bayer Leverkusen get back on track. As I said, they were supposed to be a team who were a threat this season. They certainly should be in the Champions League position. So it is surprising to see them struggling like this from the first 2 games, but it is just 2 games, and I do expect them to get right. I'm not too sure in terms of what is your better play here. Obviously, this is a buy low spot for Leverkusen, and there's great value on them here at 7-10, but goals also feel like an absolute given in this game, with both teams generally more comfortable in attacking than defending. Predicting a result could be tricky. Leverkusen's losing run has to come to an end sooner or later, because I do feel they are going to be in the Champions League positions, and I do find it very, very appealing buying them at this low price, especially when last week we were taking this team to cover a handicap against Augsburg, thinking they'll bounce back from the game against Dortmund with a comfortable win. That didn't happen, that didn't materialise. So hopefully this week they do us right by coming away with 3 points here against this Hoffenheim team at the price of 7-10 on the money line. Up next, we look at the game between Dortmund and Werder Bremen, where Dortmund are the 4-11 favourites to win it. It's 17-4 in a draw, and it's 6-1 on Werder Bremen. It's been commonplace to take Dortmund and just attack on goals or attack on both teams to score, and there's no reason to change that formula. It has been very, very successful over the years. Dortmund is still a good attacking team who will be involved in high-scoring games, and will tack on the over 2.5 goals here to give us the price of 3-4 with a Dortmund win. Dortmund have won each of their last 9 Bundesliga games, yet they have no clean sheets in 16 of their last 17 meetings with Werder Bremen. Both of the visitors' league games so far have ended 2-2, so I'm expecting this to be a high-scoring affair and a very, very attacking game. 16 of the last 17 head-to-head encounters have seen both teams scoring, as I mentioned, and that is significant data. You can go into this one by taking Dortmund and both teams to score, but we're going to be a little bit safer and take the over because it allows Dortmund to win with a clean sheet, something they did do surprisingly on the opening day of the season against Leverkusen. Up next, we look at the late game on Saturday here, the 5:30 kickoff between Union Berlin and RB Leipzig, where Leipzig are the 10-11 favourites here. It's 5-2 on the draw, and it's 12-5 on Union Berlin. With Leipzig being 10-11 on the money line and not having a single win this season, the appeal is on Union Berlin to avoid a defeat here for me at the price of 10-11. Union Berlin are currently enjoying a club record unbeaten run of 9 games, and they can match a club record winning run against a specific opponent with one more win here. Leipzig are yet to win a competitive game this season. They do look a little bit disjointed, and there are much easier places to go than Union Berlin to break your duck. So this is a tough start for Leipzig here. They haven't won in the first 2 games, and I think it could possibly go to 3 games without a win. I love Union Berlin here to, at the very least, avoid a defeat and continue their unbeaten run. So we're going to take Union Berlin to avoid that defeat on the double chance market at the price of 10-11 here in this one. Up next, we move on to Sunday's games, and we look at this game here between Eintracht Frankfurt and Cologne, where Frankfurt are the 6-5 favourites. It's 5-2 on the draw, and it's 23-10 here on Cologne. If we were just looking at data, you could analyse this and make a case for Cologne winning this game as an underdog. But for me, Eintracht Frankfurt need to get right here. Eintracht Frankfurt have won 5 of the last 7 head-to-head encounters with this Cologne team, and they need to end their worst Bundesliga winless run since the 80s with a victory. Although it must be said, they were solely focusing on the Europa League towards the end of last season. But it also must be said, if you can win the Europa League, you shouldn't be on this kind of run. So inevitably, I think this will end soon for Frankfurt. This is a good chance to end it. Cologne are the team in better form. However, they've had fewer days to rest after they played in Europe in midweek. So good chance for Frankfurt to get a win here. I like taking them here on the money line to get that win and get themselves back on track, end this winless run at the price of 6-5 plus 120 on the money line. Final game we're going to look at here is Bayern Munich's visit to Bochum. If you remember last season, this was one of Bayern's most embarrassing results, losing 4-2 away to Bochum. They are the clear 1-6 minus 600 favourites to avenge that loss here away from home. It's 13-2 on the draw, and it's 14-1 here on Bochum. We're going to do something that we hardly ever do, and that's to take Bayern Munich to win to nil. It has been a play that cashed in their first 2 games, and they are one of 2 sides to make a 100% start to the season, and they come up against a Bochum team who have conceded 2+, while Bayern have scored 2+ in 6 of the last 7 games respectively, and Bochum have failed to score in 3 of the last 5 home games. Bayern Munich look a little bit tighter defensively this season, so I'm willing to take the punt on them to win to nil, especially when you're giving me plus 150, 6-4 on Bayern Munich to win this to nil. Another way into this game would possibly be to take Bayern Munich and under 4.5 goals at even money. I do like that play, but I'm just a little bit wary of the fact that Bochum embarrassed Bayern Munich last season, and there could be an element of revenge. So whereas I do like the under 4.5 goals, and I do like tacking it onto a lot of plays where we've got a juiced up favourite, this one could be risky given the revenge element here. So we're just going to go with Bayern Munich to win 2-0, and we're going to take that here at the price of 6-4 plus 150. Closing out with your lock on the show, I was tempted by Leverkusen on the money line. I want to get that bounce back. I want to buy low. I want to bounce back from last weekend's lot gloss. And I thought this team would be outsiders for the title at the start of the season, definitely in the top four. So seeing them lose the first two games, for me, this does open up the door to an opportunity to buy them low. However, I just cannot look past the data here for this Dortmund play. Dortmund to maintain their 100% record, and for there to be over 2.5 goals scored in this game. Now, Dortmund welcome a newly promoted Werder Bremen side who have not won across their last 12 top flight games, which explains why they were relegated last time out. However, they have started this season better. They have caused opponents trouble with a pair of 2-2 scorelines. So that shows you that they can score goals. It shows you that they can contribute towards the scoring, not to mention the fact that both teams have scored in 16 of the last 17 head-to-head encounters. So I'm expecting an entertaining game here, and there's good data to support Werder Bremen adding to the over 2.5 goals, which makes me even more comfortable adding it on to this Dortmund money line selection. So we are going to take Dortmund on the money line, and we're going to pad it out by adding the over 2.5 goals, and that gives you a lock at the price of 7-10 here on this show. That's it for me in this edition of Das Bundesliga Show. Good luck with all of your bets as always, and thanks for listening.
Here's the lowdown on lowering bad cholesterol from Leqvio. Lowering bad cholesterol is hard, but you could do hard. You lived through 5 fad diets, 11 sleep training nights, 9 mediocre middle school recitals, 1 heart attack. And with Leqvio, you can lower your bad cholesterol and keep it low with 2 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Prescription Leqvio inclisiran is given by a doctor for people with known heart disease on a statin with diet who need more help lowering bad cholesterol. Common side effects are injection site reaction, joint pain, urinary tract infection, diarrhea, chest cold, pain in legs or arms, and shortness of breath. Results may vary. Learn more at Leqvio.com or call 1-833-537-8462. Ask your doctor about Leqvio. That's Leqvio. Lower, longer, Leqvio.